Hi, everybody, and welcome back. As we are nearing the end of the year, we are still faced with a few cases which have gone unresolved, either because the actual case has not been solved yet, like that of Summer Wells and Michael Monkey Vaughn, and a number of others. And then there are cases like that of Chad Daybell, Richard Allen, Bryan Kohberger, etc., which I feel had been unnecessarily stretched out and delayed. Yes, I understand the legal process, but honestly, I have been watching some of the United States cases for years now, and the process whereby 101 motions are filed and allowed to be filed is just tedious and mostly a waste of time. Many of the motions are not granted, and often, I'm sure, the defense lawyer actually knows that it won't be granted, but he goes and files the motions anyway. So, as it is the end of the year, let's take a quick tour through these more known and controversial cases. And all I'm going to do is to give you my opinion on each based on what is already readily available in the media. So let's start with Chad Daybell. Thank God the judge denied the motion to remove the death penalty. Here is what I think. Yes, I agree with the general notion that Alex Cox was the henchman, the actual physical killer, I think, in most cases. I believe he tried to kill Joseph Ryan, then killed Charles Vallow, intended to kill Brandon Boudreaux, likely killed Tylee and JJ. But as far as Laurie is concerned, was she physically involved? Now, I think there is a good chance that she was physically involved with the death of Tylee and JJ. But then she could also have been physically involved with Charles Vallow's death, for all we know, because she did send the children out to the car, and there was a time when the children were outside and Laurie and Alex alone inside with Charles. She herself said so. When it comes to Brandon, my question would always be who drove the Jeep? We know it was likely not Laurie, or we think it wasn't Laurie because we saw her and Chad bring the back seat and I think a tire or wheel of the Jeep into the storeroom. And then later, a day or two later, her and Alex take it out again. It is my opinion that it was indeed Alex who shot at Brandon from the back window of the Jeep. But remember, Brandon said that the shot rang out and the Jeep sped off. So would Alex be able to shoot, put the gun down, clamber over to the front seat, start the Jeep in a split second and speed off? I don't think so. So if Laurie was in Rexburg, Brandon dropped the youngest child off with his ex Melanie, then who drove the Jeep? Anyway, although I am prepared to concede that Laurie may not have been physically involved with the attempt on Joseph Ryan's life and that of Brandon Boudreaux, it remains that she is the one who instigated the attempt. The same would apply to the other deaths. If she did not actually partook in the physical act, she instigated it and knew about it beforehand, and that would include the death and murder of Tammy Daybell. So, now that we are with Tammy, let's talk about Chad Daybell. You know how sometimes you run into someone and before they even spoke a word to you, you have this shiver running down your spine, a mild nausea, and you think you will likely have to go wash your hands if this person insists on shaking hands with you. Now that is how I felt when I saw Chad's face the first time. And that was even way before the children were found. His total lack of emotion when he was asked about the children told me straight away he knew where they were and he didn't care. And I mean, as I said, that was in Hawaii and that was before the children were found. So the next question would be, how involved was Chad in the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy? And I believe 100%, 100% involved, and without a shadow of a doubt. Had I been a jury member, I would have found him guilty on all charges and given him the death penalty. And here is why. I fully believe Tylee was killed and dismembered on Chad Daybell's property, and I believe he was likely the one who shot her and not a raccoon. I believe Alex may have done the cutting while Chad built the fire, or the other way around. Maybe Chad did the dismemberment while Alex built the fire. When the fire did not do what it was supposed to do, they buried the remains together. When it comes to JJ, I believe that was all Laurie and Alex. I believe Alex brought the little body already wrapped, and Chad had the grave ready, already, ready and waiting. The way the rocks and the wood were placed tells me it was Chad, the grave digger's work. I believe Chad had the grave ready and waiting. Tammy, where was Alex at the time of Tammy's death? At some point, Alex's phone pinged at a church 2 miles from Chad's home. Between 10:45 and 11:53, there was no location data for Alex's phone. But at 11:53, his phone pings near a highway. So he was driving away. If you look at the map that was provided, he was driving away from the area of Chad's home at 11:53. Now, there is a snag if you want to pin Tammy's murder on Alex. You see, the coroner places Tammy's death between 12:30 and 2 a.m. So, at that time, between 12:30 and 2, Alex was not at Chad and Tammy's home, at least not when she died. So, unless Chad conjured up some evil spirit or convinced his son to kill his mother, no one but Chad could have killed Tammy, a woman he had children with and who he was married to for a long, long time. To imagine that he actually watched her die and was ready to marry another woman 2 weeks later is not only bizarre, it is downright evil. I believe Laurie is insane, delusional, but Chad is a psychopath, an evil psychopath. Now, Summer Wells, dear little Summer Wells, she really did not stand a chance, did she? I know very few people agree with me, or they partially agree in the sense that they also believe Candace Wells, Summer's mother, knows more about Summer's disappearance than she's saying. I, however, believe Candace herself is responsible for what happened to Summer, whatever happened. Maybe it was an accident, maybe a spur of the moment thing, maybe she smacked Summer so hard that she knocked her head against the wall or something. I think Grandis helped Candace cover it up because they were both afraid of what Don would have done, even if it was an accident. I truly do not know what Candace did or could have done, and do not even want to guess. But deep in my core, in my heart and in my soul, I feel that she knows what happened to her daughter. I am almost 95% sure of it. Nothing else makes any sense unless she is covering up for one of the boys. Michael Vaughn. I can't see any significant updates in that particular case. All I can see is that in July, the Fruitland PD submitted a case to Fayette County prosecutor, and then in October, Fayette County prosecutor Mike Duke told the Argus that he expects to charge the case. And that is it. No one has been charged. I cannot see anything else, but I sincerely wish the case would come to a conclusion, and if that baby is deceased, then the guilty should pay with his or her life in prison. As for Richard Allen, I do not even have one drop of info more than anyone else, but for some reason I still think he is guilty. I believe he got involved in that website run by that other piece of sleaze. Libby and Abby likely expected to meet a young bloke on the bridge that day, and when an old man like Richard Allen pitched up, they knew something wasn't right. I say, give this man his lawyers back and let them see what they can do. But I think that during the trial, some things which will definitely prove him guilty will indeed come out. But let's give the man a fair trial, give him the lawyers he wants, and let's take it from there. Then Bryan Kohberger. I really do not know what to think. Nothing, but nothing makes sense to me, regardless of which channel I listen to and which side of the fence they are on. Not only can I still not understand how one guy could have killed four healthy young people in, say, 8 to 13 minutes. From security cameras about 50 feet away, it sounds like the attack on Zana and Ethan took place at about 3:17. At 3:20, the car speeds away. I mean, 3 minutes to dispose of two athletic, healthy young people. Run out of the house, get back to your car, and all of that without leaving a trace of forensic evidence like blood or hair all the way from the sliding door to the car. The guy must have been dripping with blood, and the 8-hour delay to call 911 will never ever ever make sense to me, and particularly if you consider that Dylan's room was also on the second floor and the bathroom on that floor almost right next to Zana's door. Do you really want to tell me that Dylan did not go to the bathroom at least once between 1:45 and 12 noon, or whenever it was that they called 911? Not once. I don't believe it. From what I see, Brian's trial should start in summer, which means June, July. And I can just hope that justice, and I mean real justice, will be served. Okay, guys, so that is my overview on the currently more famous cases, at least for now. And now I'm going to take off and be lazy. So, until we meet again, right back here, please take good care of yourselves and each other, and a very Merry Christmas to all of you. Bye.